Wow, did you see the scandal of Ariana Grande, who stole Elon Slater from his wife, who recently had a baby and postpartum depression, who's a clinical psychologist? And what lesson can we learn as feminine ladies from this so it doesn't happen to us? Sani, how do you do? I'm an image consultant and relationship coach, and former Miss Universe finalist, happy housewife. So, what is the problem here? Well, the mistake here is that Ethan Slater's wife said that she married her high school sweetheart and she was hoping for a life of sweetness and happiness for her and her baby, to only find out.
For the first time ever, Ethan Slater's ex-wife, Dr. Lily J, is opening up about her divorce and the aftermath. In case you don't know, Lily is actually a clinical psychologist, and she wrote an essay for The Cut titled, "How Does My Divorce Make You Feel?" Lily says, "No one gets married thinking they'll get divorced, but I really never thought I would get divorced. Especially not after giving birth to my first child, and especially not in the shadow of my husband's new relationship with a celebrity." Lily says, "Days with my son are sunny, days when I can't escape the promotion of a movie associated with the saddest days of my life are darker." After Lily gave birth, she and her son moved to London to be with Ethan while he was filming Wicked. And she's reflecting the distance that grew between her and Ethan as they navigated raising a newborn while he was filming the movie. She says, "As a perinatal psychologist, I knew all the statistics, how vulnerable a marriage is in the postpartum period, how vital community connection is in preventing depression and anxiety, how new parenthood impacts a whole family, but I confidently moved to another country with my 2-month-old baby and my husband to support his career. Consumed by the magic and mundanity of new motherhood, I didn't understand the growing distance between us." And when her divorce began making headlines, Lily says she began to deeply miss the life of invisibility. Lily wanted privacy for the sake of her patients, but suddenly the whole world knew intimate details about her life. But in the essay, she says that she tried to use it as a way to connect with her patients. She continues saying, "I come to believe that in the absence of the life I planned with my high school sweetheart, a lifetime of sweetness is waiting for me and my child." And she emphasizes that although she and Ethan's partnership has changed, their parenthood has not. Lily says, "Both of us fiercely love our son 100% of the time, regardless of how our parenting time is divided." I'm glad Lily was able to tell her story on her own terms. I'm sure everything she's been through has been so hard to deal with, especially in the public eye. Let me know your thoughts down below and follow me for more pop culture news.
After she had had her baby, and she said she had no idea that her husband was alienated from her when she had postpartum depression. In fact, he was not alienated from her. That's not even true. But that's what she wrote, right? Because that's what she assumed. The fact is that she married her high school sweetheart. So when he finally leveled up, he felt entitled to upgrade to a woman at a new level who's not even as attractive as his wife, but she is at a new level. She's a celebrity, unlike his wife, and so he felt entitled that if he's finally made it, so at his new level of success, he wants to date a lady who never saw him struggle and build with him all the way up. So when you see us middle-aged aunties say, don't build with a man, don't build with a gentleman. Wait for someone who's already formed. This is why. So ladies, never, ever, ever marry your high school sweetheart. Most of those marriages don't work out. Ladies, listen to your aunties when we say don't marry your high school sweetheart, because what do blind people do when they finally have an operation and see for the first time in their lives? Blind people throw out their walking sticks. The walking stick is the first thing to go once they start seeing. If you built with a gentleman, you are that walking stick, and you are the first thing to go when he starts succeeding. I'm not saying you should wait until he's a billionaire, right? But wait until he's successful and able to provide. Success does not mean that he, must be the CEO of the biggest Fortune 500 corporation on the planet. No. Successful means he should be able to provide for a family and also feel that he's at a point in his life where he has achieved enough to want to settle down, that he has made his impact. So when I met my husband, he ran a startup and had his master's degree in business and had enough income to allow me to be a housewife so that he can settle down and have a family. My husband is not a billionaire, but he is able to provide me a soft life. I'm able to be a housewife. He's a lovely provider and he feels successful. At 28, my husband felt that he could be responsible for a family. So when we met, he wanted to marry me. Now, when he was a student, he was not able to be responsible for a family. All he wanted to do is have fun and party and meet many girls, right? Because, and this is all about, genetics also, how human sexuality is made. So, gentlemen, when they don't have resources, they like to play around and spray and pray. Ethan Slater's wife, I think her name is Lily, had just given birth and almost died in childbirth with a very life-threatening complication. And shortly after she had given birth, she had found out that her husband had betrayed her while she had postpartum depression. Finally looking forward to her high school sweetheart and love of many years, sharing a baby together, he had ran off with a celebrity. Of course, what she wrote was very touching and painful, and I don't think anyone should go through this. If you love a boy in high school or university, cut it off. Be careful, ladies, right? Because he might love you then, but love changes. And there is such a thing as entitlement and seasons. There is a time in life when they are boys, right? And they're figuring out the world. You should never marry a boy. And then, eventually, they develop a sense of mastery over the world. And then, subconsciously, they start looking for a spouse, right? And that is when they look for a wife. So don't marry your high school sweetheart or your college sweetheart. Marry an established gentleman ready to take the responsibility to care for a family. I don't care if you love him. Love is not enough. Look at what happened. Look, if he's successful, then he'll want a woman at that level and not the lady who struggled with him all this time. Why are you basing your decisions on some hormones called love? Hormones are fleeting, right? And why was he attracted to you in the first place in high school? If it's hormones, a lot of it is status, because maybe you were the cheerleader or prom queen or whatever it is, the cutest girl in high school. But, you saw him struggle and you stayed with him while he was struggling, right? And the two of you struggled through university together and lived the bohemian life of trying to make ends meet 50-50, you were both struggling together. And you were struggling over the years, and the two of you had to work and both find jobs, So when he finally earns enough money that you can stay at home and not have to struggle, that's precisely when he will start looking for a lady who has high standards like Noor, who would never struggle with a gentleman in the first place, and thus to him be a prize like Noor from Love is Blind Habibi. Or in this case, his co-star Ariana Grande. So, in life, if feelings got him to pursue you, well, those feelings were created of relative status, right? But that's why he was attracted to you, because you may have said no, you may have been the prom queen, you may have been unattainable, and he finally attained you, but then he struggled with you. And you split the bills, and you watched him not be the alpha, right? He wasn't the head of the household because the two of you were struggling. Therefore, you could not look up to him because he could not be responsible. The two of you struggled together. So that's why you cannot build together, because you cannot look up to him the way I look up to my husband. My husband is the head of my household, and I admire him for how he takes care of me, how he's responsible for the home. And he is a truly magnificent man. He is if you're struggling, he's not the head of your household, right? You don't admire and look up to him the way I look up to my husband. My husband is an incredible gentleman who provides for me, protects me. He's just the most incredible man I have met, and I admire him. He's the king of my heart. I look up to his decision making. I respect and I admire him, right? So if you struggle with your gentleman, can you really look up to him the same way a housewife looks up to her husband, who makes her life soft, carefree and easy? You cannot. Ariana Grande looks at Ethan Slater with fresh eyes. However, his wife, on the